Yo, what's up world? It's your boy Philochko here. You know that American dude with the incredible mood? That's me. And what am I making a video about today without my glasses on? Well, today I'm going to make a video about 3 words or things you have in Russian that we don't have in American English because we either just don't use this word or we don't have this thing. And these 3 things are commonly used in Russia and in the Russian language, but we don't use it in English at all, not because it's in Russian, but also because we don't have these things. So whenever you are to try to explain one of these words to somebody in English from the Russian perspective, we'd say, what the hell is that? Even when we understand what the word means, we'll still be like, what the hell is that? I've never seen this or I've never heard about this, okay? So these are 3 words or things you have in Russian that we do not have in American English. Now let's get to it. The first thing is Podiyezd. Podiyezd. Now, a lot of Russians don't even know the proper word for this in English. They don't understand it. Even someone I've lived with didn't understand it. Didn't understand what a Podyezd is. Now, a lot of Russians will try to tell you a Podyezd is an entrance to a building. That is incorrect in American English, and I'll tell you why. Now, down here is a Russian building with the Podyezd, and up here is an American building, a housing project, which is where I used to live. And every time I brought Russian girls over to hang out with me or something, whenever they came to the housing project, every single one of them said the same thing. This is just like Russia. But there's one major difference. We don't have any Podyezd, so to say. So what is a Podyezd? A Podyezd is actually a section of a building. Not just an entrance, it's a section, okay? So let me explain how it is in America first. In America, we can have one big building. Even this housing project is one big building. Typically, no matter where you enter the building from, whether you enter the front, whether you enter the side, whether you enter the back, you're still going into the same building. You're going into the same exact building. You can get to your apartment from any of those entrances, okay? But in Russia, it does not work that way typically. In Russia, a Podyezd isn't just an entrance, it's a section of the building. So let me give you an example. Let's say there's a big building, just like a housing project, but this building is divided into 3. But you don't see a divide. You don't see a divide. It's only divided by doors. It's divided by entrances, but those entrances are actually entrances into sections of the building instead of just the building itself. So let's say there's a building, it has 5 Podyezd and it has 100 apartments. The first Podyezd, you'll only be able to get into apartments 1 through 20. Second one, you'll be able to get into 21 through 40, and so on like that. So if you go into the building from the wrong Podyezd, you will not get to your apartment. You can't get there. You have to go into the proper Podyezd. So it's common in Russia that a lot of buildings have one way in, one way out, right? They typically have one way in, one way out. But because of the way we do things in America, it's typically not like that. We have many ways to get in and many ways to get out, especially just in case there's a fire or something. So there's many ways to get in and many ways to get out in America, but in Russia, a lot of times that Podyezd, which is the section of the building, is the way you get in and the way you get out. Now, the reason why I'm saying you cannot see the section is because there's no difference in the look of the building besides the door. So just imagine in America, you can have one big building with 4 doors. You can pick which door you want to go inside and you see no difference in the building. It's not like one section's white, one section's blue, one section's red. No, everything looks alike, but there's just different doors of the same exact building. The same bricks, like one big brick building, but each door represents a section. So you have to understand Podyezd. So if you live in the first Podyezd, you're in the первый, second, второй, blah, 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 like that, all right? That's the first one. So let's get to the second one. The second one is, in Russian, it's the Avtomat. Now the Avtomat is super cool shit. It's super cool shit. As in a word in English for that, the best way to explain it in English is like a super ATM, but you can't take money out. It's like a super ATM, but you just can't take money out. Basically what it is to us, is most similar to a bank that has an ATM in which you pay your bills. But the thing about this Avtomat, which is all over Russia, is that you can pay almost all of your bills from anything. From anything right into that machine. Not only that, you don't even need a card. You don't need a card. So in America, I don't know if I've never seen this in New York. I don't know if we have anything like this in America at all, but this machine here is very special. Only thing you need to know is your code. Or if you're paying your phone bill, you need to know your phone number. So you walk up to the machine, you find your phone company, because they have many phone companies in there. You find your phone company, you click your phone company, put in your phone number, you put in the money, you pay it. Just like that. Or if you have an electric bill to pay, you pay electric bill, you go up to it, you put in your electric bill code, whatever it is, then you put in the money, you pay it. That's how it is. So the machine specifies with paying many different types of bills. And not only that, this machine is all over Russia. It's everywhere. So like you can walk outside, just be walking, and you see the Automat, and you're like, oh man, I gotta pay my phone bill. Or, oh man, I gotta pay my electricity bill. And it's that simple, that fast. If you have cash in your pocket, you go outside, you can pay all your bills in one machine. And these machines are everywhere, and each machine contains different companies. Usually in America, the machines in which we can do that in is special for this bank, only for this bank, only for this phone company. But here you can pay your bills anywhere, because these Automat are everywhere. So honestly, I don't know what to call this in English, because it's not an ATM really, because you don't get your money out and you don't use a card. So it's more just like a super bill pay machine. You know, it's like a machine where you pay your bills. You know, it's really cool, but it's not any specific bill. It's for bills of all types in one machine. That machine has a lot of money, all right? So now let's get to the third and last thing for today. And the third and last thing for today is the Zhiguli. The Zhiguli is personally my favorite car in all of Russia, but Russians typically don't like the Zhiguli. Now the Zhiguli is this car you see right here. The reason why it's called Zhiguli is because it's named after some mountains called the Zhiguli Mountains, and so they call it Zhiguli. Now, if you mention the Zhiguli to a Russian person, a lot of them might laugh and say, oh, it's crap, feel, it's crap. No, I like the Zhiguli, you understand? I helped the taxi driver to push his Zhiguli at least 2 times before. Now, it's an old car, it's very cheap, very expensive. You could probably buy a Zhiguli in American dollars, maybe buy one for like $1,500. They're not very expensive, but people tend to not like the Zhiguli as a car in Russia. They're like, oh, it's crap, it's disgusting, but I like it. But not only that, when you call the taxi service, when you call taxis, in Russia it's very strange. They don't come and get you in a taxi that's like a yellow taxi that we may have in New York, or a green one that we also have in New York. It's any random looking car that just comes to get you. Only reason you know it's a taxi is because on the phone when you call, they will call you back and tell you the numbers that will be on the car. So any regular looking car can be a taxi here. So you could be picked up in anything from a cheap ass Zhiguli that's like dragging on the floor as it rides, or you'd be picked up in like a BMW or a Lexus, and still you pay the same no matter what car comes to pick you up. That's what threw me off. Because usually when I was in like Sarato, they picked me up in a lot of Zhigulis. I was always in a Zhiguli in a taxi. But one day this Lexus came to get me. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to pay more. It's the same amount of money no matter what car comes to get you. Only thing that matters is the distance in which it has to go. Not how long it takes to get there, just the distance, okay? And when you call them, they'll call you back and tell you how much it costs before you get into the car. So you don't pay less if you're in a cheap Zhiguli. You don't pay less if you have to help them push it either, I don't know. And you don't pay more because it's in a Lexus. So there you go. That's the 3 things you should know about words they have in Russia that we typically don't have in English because we don't need the word or we don't have the thing. So quick review. First one, we have the Podyezd, which is an entrance to the section of your building. The entrance to the section, or just the section of the building, first, second, third. Then you have the Automat, which is like a super bill paying machine. It's amazing. It's literally my favorite thing about Russia. It's the #1 thing I like about Russia is this Automat. You just pay all your bills, one shot. You don't get no mail about your bills. I mean, I don't get any mail. I'm sure other people do. I don't get mail about bills or anything because I don't live in one place. So I just constantly pay at the Automat so I don't have any of those problems and I don't pay anything late. And every time I go outside, every time I leave the house, I'm reminded that I can pay the bill that easily. And the third one is the Zhiguli. A lot of Russians think it's an embarrassing car, but I personally like it. You could buy it, it'll break, you get a good workout, you get to push and work on your leg muscles and all that stuff. So that's the end of the episode for today. I hope you liked it, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned new stuff. Be sure to add me, vk.com/Philochko, that's me, and subscribe to my YouTube page to see all my videos. And don't forget Philochko at Instagram and Philochko at Twitter, whatever the hell. Check the links in the description. And that's basically it. Let me know what you think. I'm out. Later. Oh, and the guy at the end of the video.